Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, where we dive deep into the world of coins, collectibles. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most beautiful and historically powerful small coins ever made by the United States. It was struck when the world was standing on the edge of World War II, and America was preparing for a new era. Every 1940 Wheat Penny carries the silent weight of that moment in time, when Abraham Lincoln's face reminded Americans of unity and strength during uncertainty. This coin is made of 95% pure copper, with the rest being tin and zinc. That copper gives it the warm red-brown glow collectors love. When you hold a real 1940 penny, you are touching metal that was minted more than 80 years ago, during a time when every cent had real buying power and real value. The 1940 Wheat Penny was produced in 3 mints. The Philadelphia Mint made coins with no mint mark. The Denver Mint added a small D, and the San Francisco Mint added a small S below the date. Each mint created coins with slightly different characteristics, and that is where rarity begins. Most 1940 pennies are common, but a small number were struck with mistakes. These mistakes are what collectors chase. A normal penny may be worth only a little more than face value, but a mint error can turn the same coin into something worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of the most powerful errors include double die strikes, where Lincoln's face or the word appear doubled, and off-center strikes, where the design is shifted. These errors were accidents at the mint, and once they enter circulation, they can never be repeated in exactly the same way again. Another rare type is the wrong metal strike. In 1940, pennies were supposed to be copper. If a penny from that year was struck on a blank meant for another coin, such as silver or brass from a different denomination, it becomes an extreme rarity. Coins like this can sell for prices that sound unbelievable to ordinary people. Condition is everything. A 1940 penny that looks dull and worn is just old money. But a 1940 penny that still shines with red copper, with no scratches, no wear, and sharp details, is a treasure. These are called mint state coins, and collectors will pay very high prices for them. Some of the finest 1940 pennies ever discovered have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. They are not valuable because they are old, but because they are nearly perfect. Perfection is rare, and rarity creates demand. The Denver and San Francisco mint versions are often more valuable than the Philadelphia ones, especially in high condition. Fewer coins survive from those mints without damage, which makes clean examples harder to find. Now here's the honest truth that many viral videos hide. There is no normal 1940 penny worth millions of dollars. The only way a 1940 penny reaches extreme value is if it is a verified mint error or a top-graded flawless specimen. But that does not mean your coin is useless. It means it must be examined by professionals. Real wealth in coins is discovered when experts confirm that a piece is special, not when someone guesses. If you own a 1940 Wheat Penny that looks strange, doubled, off-center, or unusually colored, it could be something important. Never clean it. Cleaning destroys the surface and can erase thousands of dollars in value instantly. Serious collectors send valuable coins to grading companies, where the coin is sealed in a holder and given a condition score. This is how the world knows a coin is real and rare. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just copper. It is American history in your hand. It was used to buy bread, newspapers, and candy during a time when the world was changing forever. So while most 1940 pennies will not make someone a billionaire overnight, a rare one can absolutely change a person's life. Many people have discovered valuable coins sitting quietly in jars and drawers for decades. Your penny is not just money, it is a possibility. If it is ordinary, it is still a beautiful piece of history. If it is rare, it could be worth more than anyone ever imagined. And that is the true magic of the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny. If you want, you can send me a photo of your 1940 penny, and I can help you look for signs of rarity or mint errors. The next up top to the 1946 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is a coin born at a powerful moment in American history, just after World War II had ended and the United States was stepping into a new era of hope, industry, and global leadership. When this small copper coin left the Denver Mint, it carried more than just 1 cent of value. It carried the story of a nation rebuilding itself. Many collectors today see this penny as a time capsule, a tiny piece of metal that connects the modern world to the dramatic post-war years when America's economy was exploding and everyday people were dreaming of a better future. This coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, a symbol of unity, freedom, and strength, while the back shows two wheat ears that represent prosperity, growth, and hard work. The D mint mark tells us it was made in Denver, one of the most important mints in the United States. The rich copper color of a well-preserved 1946. D Wheat Penny gives it a warm, glowing look that collectors love because it shows how careful it has survived through decades of handling, storage, and history. In 1946, America was changing rapidly. Soldiers were coming home. Factories were shifting from war production to civilian life. And the country was preparing for a booming economy. These pennies were used in grocery stores, gas stations, and movie theaters, quietly passing to the hands of millions of Americans. Most of them were worn down by daily use, which is why finding one today in strong, clean condition feels like discovering a survivor from a long-forgotten era. The reason people talk about huge prices when it comes to old coins is not just age. It is rarity, condition, and special features. With the 1946 D Wheat Penny, collectors look for coins that were struck sharply, with clear letters, strong wheat lines, and a smooth copper surface. When a coin looks almost the same as the day it left the mint, it becomes something extraordinary in the eyes of collectors. Sometimes, a coin can become incredibly valuable because of unusual minting mistakes. These mistakes might include doubled letters, off-center strikes, or metal flaws that happened when the coin was made. If a 1946 D penny carries such a rare mint error and is also in excellent condition, it can be worth far more than a normal one because collectors love coins that are one of a kind. There's a lot of excitement online about coins being worth millions, and while it is true that a few legendary coins in American history have sold for huge amounts, most 1946 D Wheat Pennies are valuable mainly because of their collectible charm and historical importance. Still, certain rare versions with major errors or near-perfect preservation can sell for impressive prices, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars or more when the right buyer is found. The copper in this penny is also part of its magic. These coins are made mostly of copper, which gives them their warm brown or red tone. Over time, copper reacts with air, so a penny that still has its bright, original color after so many decades is especially admired. That glowing red-brown surface tells collectors that the coin was protected and cared for, not just tossed into everyday change. What makes the 1946 D Wheat Penny so fascinating is how it blends common history with the possibility of rare treasure. Millions were made, yet only a tiny number remain in outstanding condition. That contrast creates excitement. Anyone holding one wonders if theirs might be among the special few that stand out from the crowd. For collectors, holding this coin feels like holding a small piece of the American dream. It comes from a time when families were buying their first televisions, moving into new homes, and building a future after the hardships of war. This penny quietly witnessed all of that, sitting in pockets, cash registers, and drawers as history unfolded around it. When people say a coin can change your fortune overnight, what they really mean is that rare coins have the power to surprise. A coin that looks ordinary to one person might be extremely desirable to a collector who knows exactly what to look for. That is why experts carefully examine details like letter shapes, spacing, shine, and even tiny marks that can separate a regular coin from a very special one. The Denver Mint was known for producing strong, well-struck coins, and many 1946 D pennies show bold designs and clear features. This quality makes them attractive to collectors who want a coin that truly shows off the artistry of the wheat penny design. A sharp, clean example feels almost alive, as if it is still carrying the energy of the year it was made. Coins like this are not just about money. They are about stories. Every scratch or shine tells us something about where the coin has been. Some may have traveled across states. Some might have been saved in a family box for generations, and others may have been rediscovered in old collections. Each 1946 D penny has its own silent journey. Serious collectors often send their best coins to professional grading services, where experts examine them and give them a grade based on condition. A high-grade 1946 D Wheat Penny can become much more valuable because the grade proves its quality and rarity. This turns a simple penny into a recognized collectible with a place in the numismatic world. The true power of this coin lies in how it connects people to history. When you hold it, you are touching the same metal that someone touched nearly 80 years ago. It reminds us that even something as small as a penny can carry deep meaning and long-lasting value. While not every 1946 Wheat Penny will make someone rich, the excitement around it is real. The hunt for rare coins, the thrill of finding a special one, and the joy of owning a piece of American history are what drive collectors around the world. That passion is what gives these coins their lasting worth. So the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as a beautiful symbol of post-war America, copper craftsmanship, and the timeless dream of discovery. Whether it's worth a few dollars or a much higher amount depends on its unique details, but its story and charm are priceless. In that way, this humble penny truly has the power to make people feel rich, not just in money, but in history and wonder. The next up top three, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, is one of those quiet American coins that looks ordinary, but carries a story that reaches deep into U.S. history. It was minted only 5 years after World War II, when America was rebuilding, factories were booming, and copper was still a precious industrial metal. Every 1950 penny was made from solid bronze, about 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it that rich reddish-brown color collectors love. When you hold one today, you are holding real American metal from a powerful era. This penny carries Abraham Lincoln on the front, the same design first introduced in 1909, and on the back it shows 2 wheat stalks, a symbol of America's farming strength. By 1950, this design was nearing the end of its run, which makes it even more meaningful. In 1959, the wheat design was replaced, so every wheat penny is now a closed chapter of U.S. history that will never be minted again. 3 different mints made the 1950 wheat penny. The Philadelphia Mint made coins without a mint mark. The Denver Mint added a small D, and the San Francisco Mint used an S. Among these, the 1950 D is the most famous because of how unusual its story became in the coin world. Even though many were made, collectors at the time saved huge numbers of them, creating one of the first modern hoarding events in U.S. numismatics. Because so many people saved the 1950 D, most examples today are still in good shape. But truly perfect coins are extremely rare. A coin that has never circulated, never been scratched, never been touched by human fingers, and still has its original mint shine is called mint state. When a 1950 penny survives in that condition for over 70 years, it becomes something special. The real money in the 1950 wheat penny is not in ordinary coins. It is in coins that are almost perfect with flawless surfaces, sharp details, glowing copper color, and no signs of wear. These rare survivors are graded by professional services, and the highest grades are incredibly hard to achieve. When one of these ultra-high-grade pennies appears, collectors fight over it. Some of the finest 1950 D pennies have sold for many thousands of dollars, not because they're made of gold or silver, but because they are rare in perfection. Millions of people spent these coins, scratched them, or wore them down, so only a tiny number remain in top condition. That is how a 1-cent coin becomes a treasure. There are also special versions called proof coins. These were made in Philadelphia with extra polished dies and were never meant for spending. Proof 1950 pennies have mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp detail. Because only a small number were made and most were carefully saved, these are among the most beautiful Lincoln cents ever created. Another thing that can make a 1950 penny incredibly valuable is a minting error. These happen when something goes wrong during production. Letters may double, the design may shift, or metal may be struck incorrectly. A genuine error from 1950 is rare and can be worth far more than a normal penny, especially if it is dramatic and clearly visible. What makes collectors obsessed with the 1950 wheat penny is that it sits at a crossroads in American history. It belongs to the old copper-heavy coinage, before modern pennies became cheaper and lighter. That makes these coins feel more solid, more real, and more connected to the past. When people say a coin could change your fortune, they're usually thinking about the extremely rare versions, perfect mint state examples, stunning proof coins, or unusual errors. Those are the coins that can reach into the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. They are not common, but they are real and they exist. Most 1950 pennies you find will be worth more than 1 cent simply because of their copper and age, but only a few are true collector treasures. This is why people should never rush to sell an old coin without knowing what it really is. One tiny detail, like a mint mark, grade, or error, can change everything. Over time, coins like the 1950 Wheat Penny continue to grow in importance because fewer and fewer survive in beautiful condition. Every year, some are lost, damaged, or destroyed. That means the best ones become even rarer, and rarity is what creates value. Collectors around the world respect the Lincoln Wheat series because it represents 50 years of American history in metal. The 1950 issue stands near the end of that era, making it especially desirable. It is one of the last chapters in a story that began in 1909. Holding a bright, clean 1950 penny today feels like touching the past. You are holding something that passed through American hands during a time when the country was growing, inventing, and changing the world. That emotional connection is part of what makes these coins so powerful. While not every 1950 penny will make someone rich, the rarest and best examples are real collectibles that sell for real money. These are not myths. They are documented, traded, and loved by serious collectors who are willing to pay high prices for true quality. So if you ever find a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny in strong copper color, sharp detail, and with a clear mint mark, do not dismiss it. You may be holding a small piece of American history that could be far more valuable than it looks. In the world of rare coins, sometimes the smallest metal circles carry the biggest stories. The next up top for the 1945 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most emotionally powerful coins in American history because it was born at the exact moment the Second World War ended. When this coin was struck in Denver, soldiers were returning home, factories were changing from weapons to peacetime tools, and the entire world was breathing again. That is why collectors feel something special when they hold this penny. It is not just metal. It is a tiny time capsule of victory, sacrifice, and survival. Many people online claim this coin is worth millions, but the real story is far more interesting and honest. The 1945 D. Wheat Penny itself was minted in very large numbers, so most examples are not rare. However, hidden among ordinary pieces are extremely rare error versions and unusual metal compositions that can truly be worth life-changing money. That is where the legends are born. This penny is made mostly of copper because during World War II, the U.S. Mint briefly changed the steel in 1943 to save copper for war supplies. By 1945, copper returned, which means these pennies carry the same metal that once built war machines and victory tools. That makes them deeply symbolic and highly collectible. The D mint mark under the year tells us the coin was struck in Denver. Denver minted wheat pennies are famous for sharp details and strong strikes. That is why collectors look closely at the 1945 D version. It often shows Lincoln's face, hair, and beard in beautiful detail. When preserved well, here is the shocking truth. A normal 1945 D Wheat Penny in worn condition is only worth a small amount, but if the coin is in perfect, untouched, shiny condition with no wear, its value jumps dramatically. High-grade examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars because collectors compete fiercely for flawless history. Now comes the part that creates million-dollar stories. A few extremely rare 1945 pennies were struck on the wrong metal, such as steel or leftover planchets from earlier years. These mistakes happen inside the mint and were never meant to exist. When one of these is discovered, it becomes one of the rarest Lincoln cents in the world. Imagine a 1945 D penny that should be copper, but is instead made of steel. That would be a once-in-a-generation discovery. Coins like that have sold for enormous amounts because collectors and museums fight to own them. This is why people say a simple penny can change a person's life. Another rare version is a double die error, where parts of the date or Lincoln's face appear doubled because the design was stamped twice slightly out of alignment. These errors are real mint accidents and are extremely valuable when strong and clear. A 1945 D with dramatic doubling could be worth many thousands of dollars. Condition is everything. A penny that looks old, scratched, dark, or worn is usually common, but one that looks almost new, with full shine and sharp edges, becomes something magical to collectors. That is why people are told never to clean old coins, because cleaning destroys value forever. The story of the 1945 Wheat Penny is not just about money. It is about holding something that passed through American hands right as the world was changing. This coin may have bought bread for a returning soldier or candy for a child celebrating peace. That emotional connection adds power to its value. Real collectors pay huge money not for hype, but for rarity, condition, and authenticity. When a rare 1945-era penny appears, it is examined by experts, certified, and placed in protective cases. Only then does it reach its true market value. People who become suddenly rich from coins usually do not find a normal one. They find something extraordinary. A wrong metal strike, a powerful mint error, or a flawless survivor history is what creates those headline-making prices. So if you have a 1945 Wheat Penny, you are holding a real piece of American history. Most are worth modest amounts, but a tiny number are worth incredible sums. That mystery is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. This is why you should never rush to sell an old coin without understanding it. What looks ordinary to one person might be a hidden treasure to another. Knowledge is what turns copper into gold. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny will always be special because it marks the end of the most dramatic war in human history. No matter its price, its story can never be replaced. So when people say a penny can change your life overnight, they are not talking about fantasy. They are talking about rare mistakes, perfect preservation, and history captured in metal. If your coin is one of those rare survivors, it truly has the power to change your future.